So h of z is defined as output by input as 1 upon 1 minus half z inverse. Now how to write the difference equation? So difference equation is nothing but the, like how we write the time domain equations. For a continuous signal, it is known as differential equation. So differential equations are time dependent equations, but here it is not continuous, it is discrete signals. So it will be named as not the differential equation, it will be named as the difference equation. So difference equations are discrete time domain equations. So h of z is given. Now how to obtain the difference equation from that? Just cross multiply on both sides, that is y of z by x. The difference equation always will be written in terms of output and the input signal. In terms of output and input, the difference equation will be written. So here y of z by x of z is given, so just cross multiply to get in terms of y of z and x of z. So after cross multiplying, you will get y of z into 1 minus half z inverse, which is equal to x of z. Now open the bracket on the left hand side. So y of z will be coming in the two terms. Now the difference equation can be obtained by taking the inverse z transform. Okay, so let us take the inverse z transform for this. So y of z inverse is y of n minus half z inverse y of z, z inverse y of z. So that is a shifted signal. So y of n minus 1, which is equal to x of z inverse will be x of n. So this is the difference equation which I can derive from the given transfer function. Okay, because you may require to obtain finally your original equation after doing all the analysis. You may have to take the signal back into the time domain. So you require the solution in the z domain, then you have to take it back to the time domain. So all the conversions are required. That is, from the time domain you will convert it into z plane. There you will get the equations in the algebraic form. There you will do all the analysis. Then after doing the analysis, getting the output, again that will be taken back into the time domain. So that is why here the difference equation is obtained in the time domain from the you are obtaining it from the transfer function. You can obtain from the input output z transform equation as well as from the h of z also. If it is h of z, then you have to write it of the form y of z by x of z, cross multiply, then obtain. Otherwise, sometimes directly the equation may be in terms of y of z and x of z. Just take the inverse, z transform inverse to obtain the difference.
Diva ma'am,
Yes,
I have posted the attendance. Huh?
yes. All of you can give your attendance. Okay. So I hope everyone has done given the attendance. Okay. So this transfer function equations are a very important tool or powerful tool, I can tell, in modeling of any systems. Okay, instead of doing any direct investigation or experiment on the more physical systems, you can Instead of that, you can do the modeling of that existing system, physical system, in terms of this transfer function, because the transfer function directly gives you all the characteristics of your existing system, and all the analysis you can do in the transfer function instead of doing the direct experiments on the existing system. So if you open, have you done any experiments in simulations in MATLAB? Have you done any simulations in MATLAB?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So there you have used what is that? Sim power system blocks, isn't it? Have you done it with program, or have you done with this blocks? Sim
Ma'am,
power system.
signal processing we have done with code.
Coding. No, no, I'm not asking this way. You have done simulation separate lab, isn't it, earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
There in the MATLAB, have you used MATLAB as one of the software tool?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Simulink.
Simulink you have used there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There you are taking different blocks and connecting, like any circuit, how you will obtain different components like diode. If I take an electronic circuit, diode, resistor, whatever DC source, whatever you require, you will obtain in the form of a block, isn't it, in Simulink? Okay, now how that blocks are defined, you can right click and open that in the block, open in subsystem, something like that it is there. So you can see that diode, if I take a diode separately, that will be modeled in form of a transfer equation. In front of you in the interface, it will be shown as a diode, but background behind that modeling will be done with the help of this transfer equations or transfer functions. Okay, so that is why I'm telling that entire MATLAB Simulink is based on this transfer function. Modeling is with the help of this transfer function. So such a powerful tool is the transfer function of the system. You will get all the behavior in that transfer function. Okay. So here, let us now go to the other part. What else I can obtain with the help of this transfer function h out z. Okay, so now let us see the relation between the z transform and the frequency response. Okay, so z transform of sequence x of n is defined by x of z is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n z raised to minus n. So this is the general transform z transform equation to transform a signal in the time domain into z plane. So this is the transform equation. Now let us see what will happen if I put z as e raised to minus j omega. Okay, so wherever z is there, if I put e raised to j omega, then what you obtain is the frequency or the Fourier transform of the signal. Okay, that means by putting z equal to e raised to j omega, what you obtain is the Fourier transform of the signal. So let us see actually how you obtain this Fourier transform in terms of z plane. If I see x of z is this equation, in the z plane, if I plot this x of e raised to j omega.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, on the right hand side, it will become positive, right? For e, it will be e raised to j omega n, no? Because minus and minus will get cancelled.
Sorry, minus I put there. Then let me check. Okay, it is e raised to j omega only, by mistake it came. Just putting z as e raised to j omega, not minus. Then here also it will. Okay. So putting z is equal to e raised to j omega, you will obtain the Fourier transform of the signal. Now in the z plane, if you see, if I put z as e raised to j omega, then this is nothing but the z transform of the signal, or at the unit circle what you obtain the z transform, that is nothing but the Fourier transform of the signal. The rest all you cannot, only at the unit circle the z transform what you obtain, so that is the Fourier transform of the signal. Or Fourier transform is to evaluate the z transform on a unit circle. So the angle you can see omega, whatever you obtain, so that will give you the angle, and at the unit circle whatever z transform you obtain, that will give you the Fourier transform of the signal. Or if I imagine in a 3D way, you can see here at a distance of unit what you obtain the z transform, that is the Fourier transform. So Fourier transform is a periodic function. Fourier transform is a periodic function with a period of 2 pi. So you require this understanding to evaluate the frequency response of the system from the transfer function of the system, because you should know that at unit circle, when you find the z transform, that will give you the Fourier transform of the signal indirectly. Okay. So now let us see for this particular system, that is y of n, a system is given to you defined in terms of a difference equation, y of n minus 1 by 3 y of n minus 1 plus 1 by 5 y n minus 2 equal to x of n minus 2x n minus 1. So for this system, you have to determine the system function. System function means nothing but h of z, which is the transfer function of the system. That is the system function. So let us take the z transform. So can anyone tell the z transform for this, or I will ask someone? Okay, Bhavesh. Bhavesh, can you tell what is the z transform for the given equation? One by one you can tell. Bhavesh. Okay, Dennis. Dennis. Dennis, can you hear me? Akhilesh.
Yes, ma'am.
So those who are not able to respond means you are not able to understand. Okay, so now onwards I will consider those who are not answering means they are supposed to come for the remedial. Okay, that way I can tell, instead of taking from the test, this way I can take. If you don't understand, even if you don't understand, at least you can respond, no, when I am asking. Okay, Akhilesh, can you tell now what is the z transform for y of n?
Z by Z minus 1.
Y of n.
Okay, Y of n. Y of Z.
Y of z. Now y of n minus 1, it is a shifted. So what is the Z transform for a shifted signal? Directly you can write. You have used that properties for shifted signal.
Z inverse Y of Z.
Minus one.
Yes.
Z inverse.
Yes, Z inverse Y of Z. What about Y of n minus 2?
Z raised to minus 2.
Yes, Z raised to minus 2. Okay, so similarly you have to do it on the right hand side. So taking Z transform on both sides. So first one Y of Z minus 1 by 3 Z inverse Y of Z plus 1 by 5 Z raised to minus 2 Y of Z equal to X of Z minus 2 Z inverse X of Z. Now you have to obtain the system function or the transfer function. So what is the equation for the transfer function? What is the equation for the transfer function? Felix? Felix? Shrutika? Shrutika? Matre? Okay, Yadnesh, can you hear me?
Hello,
Ye- Yes, yes. Can you tell what I was asking here?
Ma'am, please share the screen.
Okay. You have to obtain the system function or transfer function from the given equation. What is the equation for transfer function? That is my question. Yatnish, can you tell what is the equation for the transfer function?
X of z is equal to summation n from minus infinity to infinity. X
System
into
function or transfer function? Question is to determine the system function or transfer function. So you are supposed to obtain the transfer function. So what is the equation for transfer function? Just now we explained. What is the equation for transfer function in terms of output and input?
for z transform of sequence x of n, right?
Huh.
Then x of z is equal to the summation of x of n into z raised to.
You didn't understood my question. Let us go back again. Here. This is my question. What is the transfer
Y
function?
of z upon x of z.
Yes, that is my question.
Okay.
Okay, so given equation was a difference equation. What you did, the given equation was a difference equation. That means it was in the time domain. So what you did, you converted that time domain equation first into the z domain. Okay, so you got an algebraic equations in terms of z, in terms of input and the output. Isn't it that equation what you just obtained here? Contain input and the output. Isn't it? Y of z is also present, x of z is also present. Okay, now you got these algebraic equations in terms of y of z and x of z. Now the next step is to obtain the transfer function from this. So what you are supposed to do now here? You have to segregate y of z terms and x of z terms, and you have to take the ratio.
Y
Yes,
of
yes.
x upon z of x.
Yes, y of z upon x of z. So the system function or transfer function of the system is given by h of z is equal to y of z by x of z. So segregate all the y of z terms and x of z terms and take the ratio. So it will be 1 minus 2z inverse divided by 1 minus 1 by 3z inverse plus 1 by 5 z raised to minus 2. So this is the transfer function of the system. Okay, so all the behavior will be included in this transfer function. That is why I told you modeling is done with the help of this, modeling of the system is done with the help of this transfer function. Now let us obtain the frequency response from this. So just now I told you by putting z is equal to, how to obtain the frequency response, by putting z equal to e raised to j omega in the transfer function equation, I can obtain the frequency response. Okay, so h of z you got here. Now if I put z equal to e raised to j omega in h of z, then we will obtain the frequency response of the system. Okay, so far we have seen at unit circle, if I put z equal to e raised to j omega, I will obtain the Fourier transform of the signal. Now the frequency response of the system can be obtained by just putting z equal to e raised to j omega in the transfer function equation. Okay, so by putting z equal to e raised to j omega in h of z, whatever equation you are obtaining, that is the frequency response of the system. So wherever z is there, just put e raised to j omega. Now, the other way again to analyze the transfer function. So one we have seen, from the given difference equation, you can obtain the transfer function, and from the transfer function, we can obtain the frequency response of the system. Now let us see the, again take the pole zero pattern from the transfer function equation and how to determine the stability of the system. So a difference equation is there, y of n equal to y of n minus 1 minus 0.8 y n minus 2 plus x of n plus x of n minus 2. You have to plot the pole zero pattern and determine the stability of the system. Now whatever, if you want to obtain the pole and zero, you have to obtain of the form h of z. So you have to convert this difference equation into the z plane or z domain. So applying the z transform, you will obtain y of z equal to y of n minus 1 shifted signal. So it is z inverse y of z minus 0.8 shifted by 2 units y of n minus 2. So it will be z raised to minus 2y of z plus x of z plus z raised to minus 2 x of z. So transfer function of the system I can obtain by segregating the y of z and x of z and taking the ratio y of z by x of z. So you will get 1 plus z raised to minus 2 upon 1 minus z inverse plus 0.8 z raised to minus 2. Now to get the poles, what you have to factorize the denominator and the numerator and obtain the zeros and the poles of the system. So you have to factorize numerator and denominator. So we have on the numerator, we have 1 plus z raised to minus 2. So reduce the equation and you are obtaining like this, z square plus 1 by z square minus z plus 0.8. Now you can factorize it easily. So it will be z plus j into z minus j on the numerator, and on the denominator you will get z minus 0.5 minus j 0.74 and z minus 0.5 plus j 0.74. So what are the zeros and what are the poles? What are the zeros and what are the poles?
Zeros are plus minus j.
Plus and minus j, and poles are
0.5
Locate.
plus
yes 0.5 plus j 0.74 and 0.5 minus j 0.74. So these are the location of the poles. Now let us plot it on the z plane. We have real and imaginary axis. So zeros are lying on the plus j and minus j. That red circle denotes the unit circle. So it is lying at plus 1 and minus 1 j. Now the poles are located at some point 0.5 plus j 0.74. Exactly, I'm not showing that values and all. Somewhere it has got real and the imaginary. Both parts are there for the poles. Now I can tell that all poles lie inside the unit circle. Hence the system is stable. So far we have not told whether it is, we have what I can tell, we were deciding the stability of the system in terms of the ROC of the system. Okay, if the ROC contains the unit circle, then the system is stable. That way we used to define the stability of the system. Now I can tell in another way, that is, if all the poles of the system lie inside the unit circle, then the system is stable. So you can see the unit circle lies outside the poles. So automatically your pole will come inside the unit circle. So then the system is stable. Okay, so earlier we defined the region of convergence should contain the unit circle. So that is also will be there. Another way also you can see the stability of the system in terms of the location of the poles. That is, if the unit circle contains all the poles, then the system is stable.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, when will the system is said to be marginally stable?
So that will be on the circle. If the poles are on the circle.
Okay, ma'am.
So next is, you are going to design a causal discrete system with the property that input is given to you. What is the input you are going to give to the system, and what is the expected output from the system is given to you. You have to design the system. Okay, so that is why I told this transfer function is very important. I can design the system based on what is the required output and what input I am going to the system. So with this, you can determine the transfer function of the system. Impulse, you have to determine the transfer function, impulse response, and frequency response of the system that satisfies the above condition. Now x of n is given, y of n is given. Now taking z transform for the input signal, that is x of n. If I take the z transform, I will obtain a raised to n u of n. What is the z transform of a raised to n u of n? Z upon z minus a. Okay, so a is 1 by 3. So z upon z minus 1 by 3. Now minus 1 by 5. Now we have shifted signal. It is 1 by 3 n minus 1 and u of n minus 1. So shifted signal will be multiplied by z inverse. So z inverse into z upon z minus a. Okay, z inverse shifted by only one unit. So it is z inverse into z upon z minus a. A is 1 by 3. Okay. Now that z inverse and z will get cancelled. So you will obtain z upon z minus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 5. into 1 upon z minus 1 by 3. Now you can take the LCM of that. If you take the LCM both side, it is z minus 1 by 3. Same denominator is there. So z minus 1 by 5 upon z minus 1 by 3. Now you have to take the z transform of the output equation given y of n. So if you take the z transform, you will get z upon z minus 1 by 2. Now from the input and the output z transform equation, you will obtain the system function or the transfer function, which is y of z by x of z. You have to divide y of z by x of z. So finally, you will get h of z as z into z minus 1 by 3 upon z minus half into z minus 1 by 5. If you take the partial fraction by taking z to the left hand side, you will obtain h of z by z equal to a1 by z minus half plus a2 by z minus 1 by 5. So you will get h of z by z equal to a1 values we are obtaining as 5 by 9 and 4 by 9. 4 by 9 is the a2 value. Now take the z to the other side. You will get h of z. Why we are doing this is in order to obtain the impulse response, because from the transfer function in the question is you are supposed to obtain which all responses. Let us go back to the question. Yes. Question is to determine the transfer function h of z, which you already got. Now from the transfer function you have to obtain impulse response. Okay, you have to take the inverse of h of z. Then only you will get the impulse response. Okay. So that is why we are doing the partial fraction in order to segregate those terms. So h of z is already obtained here. This was giving the h of z value. Now you have to obtain the inverse of h of z. For that we did the partial fraction expansion, and finally we got these values in terms of z upon z minus half. It is one portion of h of z, another portion is z upon z minus 1 by 5. Now take the inverse z transform, you will obtain the impulse response. So impulse response will be half raised to n u of n plus 4 by 9, 1 by 5 raised to n u of n. Now one thing is remaining, which is the frequency response. Just put z equal to e raised to j omega in the h of z equation, you will obtain the frequency response of the system.
Please go a bit slow.
This much only I am doing. So I will go back to the question once again and we will see it once again. This much only I will. Then you have to solve one question. Once again we will see this. Okay, so let us take the question again. Input is given to you and the required output is given. You have to design the system. For that, for the design of the system, you may require the transfer function, impulse response and the frequency response, depending upon what all analysis required. So just we are obtaining the transfer function, impulse response and frequency response from the given data, which is x of n and y of n. So first one is the transfer function. You have to obtain h of z. For that you need y of z by x of z. So let us obtain y of z and x of z separately, and you have to take the ratio. So applying the z transform to the input equation and the output equation, you will obtain x of z, and by applying z transform to the output equation, you will obtain y of z. Okay, so output by input equation, you will obtain h of z. So h of z you are obtaining, and I am writing in the simplified form z into z minus 1 by 3 upon z minus half into z minus 1 by 5. Directly if you put e raised to j omega in this, you will obtain the frequency response. I would have written it here rather than writing at the end, because frequency response is obtained by putting z equal to e raised to j omega in the transfer function equation. Let us take that one instead of, okay, by putting e raised to j omega in this equation which just now we obtained, you will directly obtain the frequency response. So you obtained transfer function, then the frequency response. Now the third one is remaining is the impulse response. So impulse response is h of n. So we have derived h of z. Now you have to obtain h of n from h of z. So how you will obtain h of n from h of z? By taking the inverse. So h of z is there. So let us to get the inverse. First you have to do the partial fraction. You have to separate it. So h of z by z, just taking z to the left hand side, you can write h of z by z equal to a1 by denominator plus b1 by denominator. Now obtain a1 as 5 by 9, a2 as 4 by 9. Take z to the right hand side. Take z on the left hand side to the right hand side. So you will get it as 5 by 9 into z upon z minus half plus 4 by 9 into z upon z minus 1 upon 5. Okay, so you got it of this form. Now taking inverse will be easy. It is of the form z upon z minus a. So taking inverse z response, z upon z minus a, the other side also z upon z minus a. So first part a is half, second part a is 1 by 5. So a raised to n u of n. There is no shifting of the signal is there. Otherwise there should have been a z inverse coming into the picture. So there is no shifting. So directly obtain the z inverse as 5 by 9 into half raised to n u of n plus 4 by 9 into 1 by 5 raised to n u of n. So you obtain the impulse response also. Okay, any doubt till here? Any doubt? Okay,
No,
so
ma'am.
we will solve a question.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, when we are taking partial fraction, why are we not taking z equal to e raised to j omega that time for finding the value?
Sorry, partial fraction, why we are doing is to segregate the terms, no, to get it so that directly we can apply the z inverse. Otherwise, how you will obtain the z inverse? You should get a general form. Let us go back to this. Okay, this is h of z. How you will obtain the z inverse for this? I mean, inverse Z transform for this. I need to obtain impulse response, that is h of n, which is h of n is there in the time domain. That is, this is in the z domain. I have to convert from the z domain into the time domain. It should be of some general form. That pair is there, no? Z transform, inverse Z transform pair is there. It should be of any of that form. So you have to factorize it. Means you have to do the partial fraction. That is why I did the partial fraction and got it of this form, so that directly I can apply the Z inverse.
No, I'm asking that can
Ah.
we can even take the partial h of z of after partial fraction one as the this one the final as
Yes,
the response.
yes, no problem, no problem. It is
Okay.
same only, na? The h of z, I just changed it way of looking, isn't it? The thing I segregated and wrote.
Okay, ma'am.
So this will be more easy rather than doing, if the question is to, in the question if it is asked to find the frequency response, why you have to do all these steps? Directly putting z as here, e raised to j omega, you already obtained the equation for frequency response. You will not waste all these steps. No? There is no, the answer is not wrong if you put z as e raised to j omega after doing partial fraction.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, I have pasted the question. You can solve.